Hey, this video is for Greek class. I'm following along with your Croy textbook, so if you want to grab it and follow along with me or read it along as we're talking, this is for Croy chapter 8, and I've kind of divided it into two parts. The first part continues to build on what we were learning in chapter 7 about pronouns. In chapter 7, we learned about personal pronouns like my, ours, theirs, hers. In this chapter, the pronouns are more objective, and so we call them demonstrative pronouns. So you have a couple of pronouns that it shows you right at the beginning of this chapter. Let me show you the charts for them. One set of pronouns it shows you as this or these, and they're things that are close by. So this book or this can of water, right, is the things that are near here, or these books that are nearby. It follows this pattern. Hutas is the masculine, but then after that it just goes back to your logos form. Tutu is the genitive, tuto, tuton. Hutoi, tuton. I would emphasize to you that there is a rough breathing mark at the beginning of that word, and that after the nominative it always has that t sound. For the feminine, you have the same thing. Haute, it's got a rough breathing mark, but then it goes to tautes, taute, tautain, follows that first declension that you're familiar with. And then the neuter, tuta, tutu, tuto, tuta. I think if you put your finger over the first couple of letters, you're going to see that the endings are what you already know. And so it's not a huge deal. But, yeah, I would not encourage you to memorize this. I would encourage you to just learn your vocab word, which is the nominative, and then to read through the chart a few times. But what you're going to best learn these is in practicing them. So we're going to practice them in our homework sentences. We'll practice them in class. But rather than memorizing, learn these by practicing them. If you've got this and these that are close, in most Romance languages, you distinguish between this and these and that and those that are over there. So that book is over there. Those books are over there. And you get it from this form then, ekenos, ekene, ekena. Again, I would just learn the nominative that is your vocab word. And then I would read through this chart a few times, but not memorize it because it follows patterns you know. It follows the logos pattern. It follows the phone pattern. You already know these endings. I promise you, 100%. It's just recognizing these new pronouns in their forms, and then they decline the same way that you've seen other adjectives and nouns decline too. Let me review some things about Greek adjectives, just to remind you. We've got these attributive adjectives in which you have a definite article right before the adjective. And so, hey, Kale Adelphi means the beautiful sister. But if there's not a definite article right before the adjective, we call that a predicate, and for now, we're translating those as a little sentence. So, hey, Adelphi, Kale, see how there's no hey right before the Kale? We're just going to say the sister is beautiful. Demonstratives also can function as adjectives, or they can function as pronouns. In that sense, they perform some kind of double duty, and so sometimes you'll see them with an adjective, with a noun. So when demonstrative adjectives stand in a predicate position but are translated like attributive adjectives, they follow the opposite of what the normal rule is. So rather than having a definite article right in front of them, they don't, and that's what shows that they're actually describing the noun. So in this case, you have hutas, halithos. Up to this point, you would have assumed that would translate that this is the stone. But without the definite article, you actually say this stone. I'm sorry, languages just are, and they develop in all kinds of ways, and sometimes they are consistent, and sometimes they're not consistent. For demonstratives, and only these kind of two words that we're looking at here, hutas and ekenos, the definite article not in front of it actually makes it an adjective, just a traditional adjective. Here's another example. Halithos, hutas, still means this stone. Ekena, ta prosopon, so prosopon is your face, and so it's that face. Okay, if that's true, then as pronouns, it just stands alone. And so when there's not a noun nearby, hutos, baptize, who baptizes? This one, or this guy. This guy is baptizing. There's no nouns. And so it's just, there's nothing else for it to do but to be a pronoun. Similarly, haute, baptize, she or this woman is baptizing. ekena, baptizusin, those ones are baptizing. Those folks over there are doing the baptizing. So it can either function as an adjective. If so, it is the opposite of our normal adjective rule, in which the definite article not being in front of it is what makes it an adjective. And then if there's just no noun nearby, it's just functioning as a pronoun. This is the first part of this chapter. This is, in my mind, something that you fine-tune later on in Greek. So here's what I would do is I would read through the chapter, I would watch this video a couple of times, I would practice the examples that are there, but then after that I would just try the sentences that are in homework, and you're going to learn this from... It cut me off, so I'm going to just jump in here again and say, hey, you're going to learn this from context, and so you just watch the video a couple of times, read through the chapter a couple of times. If you have questions, feel free to email me. If you have questions, you can bring them to class, but you're going to learn this from practicing it. So this is not stuff to memorize, this is stuff to kind of observe, but you can soak it in, and you can even come back to this later, and it will be perfectly fine. This is part of fine-tuning Greek. It's not the most important thing, and it's definitely not something that you would memorize at this point in time. Okay, I look forward to fielding any questions that you have about this, and for us to being able to just kind of barrel through. Just do your best. As you translate sentences, this is going to come to you, I think, and that's probably the most natural way to learn it. Okay, sounds good.